Right, Peach. You're the first one on. All right, Gene. So I guess other people have got the notifications now. Right, Rich. Thank you, Zeppelin. Yeah, do remember to like the stream, everybody, as it does help out. So I've got the Polish MP4B on at the moment, the one with the drinking tube underneath. But I won't keep it on all that long. I thought it'd just look good for the stream thumbnail to begin with. Maglite do some LED torches, but not many, and I don't think they're actually meant to be all that good compared to lots of the companies that specifically do LED torches. Yeah, the filters are in the mask. That's cool, Henry. You can actually legally own those in the UK as well. I've done EDC videos before, Leo, but it depends what I'm doing, because I wouldn't carry a knife a lot of the time, you know, if I'm doing stuff where I shouldn't really have a knife on me. Again, it depends what I'm doing. Yeah, those Olight torches Mike's got are very good, aren't they? I'll do another one at some point for a spooky stream. But this isn't a spooky stream tonight. This is just whatever on this one. I always think the Polish MP4s in the grey colour look a bit like power armor helmets from Fallout. A little bit, anyway. I'm alright, Mike. A little bit tired for some reason because I had a bit of a nap before the stream. But I should have set my alarm for a bit earlier before the stream because I'm still not fully woken up yet. What do you mean by a tactical flashlight, Leo? Anyway, I'll take this off for now so I can put my glasses on and read the chat a bit better. Yeah, for anybody interested, the inside of this looks like this. See, the lenses on this are a little bit discoloured because they've got that anti-fog paste on, but that generally sometimes makes it a bit harder to see out the lenses. Obviously, it's got the big chunky cheek filters on this that weighs quite a bit, but yeah, all right. Anyway, let's check my glasses on, then I can read the chat a bit better. Oh, no, you're right. Oh, what? So, like the bezel that's designed for hitting people. If you really don't need that on a torch, I mean, if you ended up getting a very good flashlight anyway and it had a bezel like that on, fair enough. But I wouldn't specifically buy a torch with a. That sounds good, Mike. I'll have to watch that. If you're streaming Heavy Rain tonight, I think you said you are, aren't you? And I'll make sure I watch that. Not obviously when you're doing the stream, but that does sound interesting. Maybe I'll have time to watch that when the stream ends before you start streaming Heavy Rain. So, I mean, I have seen those flashlights that have the, what are they called? Like the massive long things that are meant to look like batons. I wouldn't really get one of those because they seem quite dodgy in terms of being a grey area. Well, it depends what type you mean, Lava Llama. With lots of masks, you either just put a little paste on the inside, which is really self-explanatory and doesn't warrant a video, where you open the tube, you put it on the inside of the lens, you're done. If you mean GP5 anti-fog inserts, I personally wouldn't put any in for myself, because lots of them are already kind of discoloured. But if you're interested in the GP5 ones, there are other YouTubers that have done videos on it, so just watch those. Yeah, it sounds completely stupid to me, Frosty. Because obviously if it's a US military base and they do that, they could be shot or whatever or arrested, and they've only got themselves to blame. I've just answered your question about GP5 ones anyway. There's plenty of other channels that have done it, but I personally wouldn't do it in my GP5s because the inserts, a lot of the time, are already sort of, discoloured. But there's videos on how to do it. Yeah, exactly, Mike. You don't need any very weird features on the flashlight, do you? Like, sort of whatever, because a bit of metal that you could hit somebody with or shine in their eyes is good enough anyway. Wouldn't that completely depend on the state, Samuel? Because I know in a lot of states you're actually better off in terms of a home invasion type thing, shooting somebody and not wounding them, like single shot kill, than you are anything else. Because that shows you feared for your life and you just pulled out your gun and shot them. I've just got the standard Type 80 filter that's in a tan colour lava lamp. But if you were walking, why would you have a baseball bat on you? That sounds even dodgier, to be honest, to me, than if you just had a concealed carry permit or whatever else. But I don't want to get sidetracked and talking about weird stuff like that on the stream. But again, rabbit chicken, that will totally depend on what state, what country you're in, whatever, and how your gun laws work. What do you mean the bar on the lower left screen? The wall's exactly the same as last time, as far as I'm aware. Home Guard are quite interesting. They're actually a lot tougher than they're made out to be in things like Dad's Army. You wouldn't really want to mess with them. Yeah, absolutely, Rich. Post it, but just be aware that YouTube, if it thinks you're advertising something, might remove your comment and I won't even be able to see it. But as you're a mod, it should let you just post a link to the channel. But yeah, go ahead and do it. Not much, Alex. I was wearing a Polish MP4B at the very beginning of the stream. There it is, look. But otherwise, we've just been chatting about random stuff. What, you on about the disclaimer? The one that says, I don't encourage violence or anything like that. The only reason that's not on there is because I'm not streaming with OBS and you can't do it with the YouTube thing. M10M is more comfortable, but the MP4B has a much better drinking system. So it depends. Do you want a drinking system in the mask? Or do you want it to be comfortable? As I've said quite a lot of times, go on eBay and search Soviet civil defense posters. Gamos are fine. I've got a BSA which is owned by Gamo, so technically just a Gamo under another name, and that's fine. Yeah, you mean a disclaimer, Frosty? And as I said, that's not there just because I can't have it on these streams when I'm doing it via YouTube, not OBS. I won't put that other light on it. It'd make my face look a bit less blue, but because it's already 27.4 C in the room at the moment, I don't want to turn that on and then have it go up, like another degree every sort of 5-10 minutes from a big sort of bulb being on. That's personal preference, Alex. I mean, technically, it's not a gas mask, but if you wanted something for, it would work against anything. You'd want a supplied air respirator. So, like a fireman's mask with an air tank. My favourite mask's the Avon CT12, but again, that's all completely personal opinion. With a mask, it then comes down completely to what filter you're using. But assuming you had like a modern NBC filter or like an ABEX style industrial filter, it just comes down to what mask you like wearing the most. Probably just dogs, Frosty, to be honest. And in terms of breed, then it gets a bit more complicated, but Most expensive mask I have in terms of how much I paid for it or how much it's worth if I sold it. Because that's two different things. Yes, well, it depends. Because for like everybody, certain masks you'll find more comfortable than others. Because again, that's personal preference and the shape of your face and everything. Most I paid for masks was probably my XM28, I think. Can everybody just stop talking random stuff about a disclaimer now, because it's starting to piss me off, and I'm just going to time out or block people that keep saying like, "Oh, put a disclaimer on," or "Don't put a disclaimer on." I don't really need any more for it until I actually get the real plates for it, Zach. Because with a vest like that, I don't want loads of tactical shit on it, because then it would just annoy me. Because I want something like that to be functional, not like, you know, tactical or whatever you want to call it, with all like lots and lots of pockets and pouches all over it. Because obviously the more of those you put on, the more it adds weight to it, and the more yeah, Avon CT12 is good, but the FM12 is better for most people. Haven't been camping in years, but I've been camping a few times before, yeah. It wasn't just you, Rox, I'm just saying in general, just drop it. What, the half-face one? I've got a couple of good Chinese masks for eBay. Always eBay. So yeah, no theme for this stream. We'll just talk about whatever, except for silly things, you know, where people are doing the weird spamming the chat things. That's cool. Is it good, Noah? If they're £19, I have very big doubts they'd be decent. They sound like those crappy airsoft plates that wouldn't do anything, unless they are literally just surplus military stock from somewhere. Well, I wouldn't walk around wearing the Mark IV Osprey vest because it's designed for military use, not civil. I mean, something like a police slimline Kevlar vest I might have, depending on where it was. But I just probably have a leg pistol holster or whatever, you know, one on the waist, not on the actual vest itself. Yeah, I've played Cities Skylines and Cities XL, some of those ones. I've got the commie version now, which is called Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Sometimes I can get into those games, sometimes I can't. Tropico is probably my favourite series of games, sort of like that. Okay, if you let me know, Mike. If not, I'll watch some other videos if you are on a watch your stream. P100 is in the P3 respirator. Do you mean like a half-face one? Because if you want to, you can just put a decent particulate filter on your Israeli mask, and then that would cover you for that. If you want a decent half-face particulate respirator, you'll probably want a 3M one with like P3 filters, or a Chinese copy of a 3M one. All right, I'll have a look into that, Zach, but I'm just a bit skeptical because that seems way cheaper than everything else, but that's interesting. The only thing is, obviously, sometimes people mistake Kevlar panels for plates, and they're not the same thing. Ghost of the shitting jogger. No, P95 is the US equivalent to P1. I think P97 or whatever they call it is P2. P100 is P3, but as I said, the American system isn't really very good because, as I said before, P100 is not, because it's the idea is the numbers in the American system are meant to be how many percent of particulates the filter blocks, and you can't get P100 filters unless they're blocked and you suffocate wearing them. Right, half face mask. Yep, so just the things like the 3M 7500s or the 3M 6000s or like Chinese copies of those. Get a proper 3M branded particulate filters for them because they're obviously made to a very good standard, but the masks you can go a bit cheaper. Yeah, P95 is P1, so it's like the rating you never really want to go for. No, because there's no such thing as a P4 filter lava llama. Right, I'll have a look a bit later, Zach. Favourite video I've made, I really don't know, to be honest. Yeah, that mask is shit. Don't bother getting one of those if you want a mask or anything serious. Surplus riot shields, like the one I've got, anywhere between like 30 and £100. A lot of the time it's just the postage on the shields that could be completely crazy. You can buy Chinese riot shields, but I don't know how good they'd be. Yeah, but as I've said, Lava Llama, it's because P100 filters don't exist. They're called P3 filters. Sorry if I'm sounding irritable now, but I think you're trying to wind me up, aren't you? The ratings are P1, P2, P3. The US uses P95, P97, or whatever it is, and P100. But P3 is the highest rating thing you can get because you can't get a P100 filter. Because if you had a particulate filter that blocked everything, it would just be plugging the mask up, you'd die. So there is no P100. It's just, yeah, P1, P2, P3. That's the proper system that literally everybody uses except America. And like things like ABEC, that's where you have A1, A2, things like that, because it's the rating of the filter. No, are they meant to be the things that you eat as like a survival food? But again, with a lot of that, I don't think, like you said, you can really get enough calories and proper nutrition and stuff like that. But I never find talking about MREs very interesting. If it's a Chinese coffee can filter, it'll actually be alright, like a modern one. Yeah, exactly, Mike. If you are adding something like that to rations, you're going to bolster out what you've got, aren't you? But I don't think you could probably rely on them as the only source of nutrition. All right, cool, Richard. Thank you. I've got infrared night vision monocular, but I don't have like military night vision. I already answered you no, and I said I don't know. So I've not come to a conclusion since the last time you've asked it, I'm afraid. Yeah, but I don't get what you're going on about, Lava Llama, because the whole point we've said is somebody asked originally about P100, and as I was saying, you can't have a P100 filter. So all you're doing is just kind of repeating the same information. I don't want to sound like I'm having to go at you. I'm just saying that I don't know who you're trying to convince if you're trying to argue with somebody. That's the thing. I think the Romanian one's actually a different colour, isn't it, Alex? That's cool, Maxi. What state are you going to? I'm normally size 2 or 3 in S10s. I'd say size 2 because, like, with FM12s, I'm also size 2. But bear in mind, with Avon masks, they're reverse sizes. Right, sorry you're going now because you've just been repeating yourself over and over, and I really don't see what you're trying to get at, but there you go, bye. That's annoying. Is that the one you had from doing the floors, pushing the floors down, whatever it was, Mike? Oh, cool. Florida's going to be very hot, though, isn't it? But hope you enjoy it anyway. Florida seems like a state I'd enjoy. I just wouldn't enjoy the humidity and the heat of it because it's like the UK on steroids in terms of heat. You can't post an eBay link person because it won't let you do it. Yeah, that's annoying, Mike, isn't it? Like sometimes with my back injury I had from years ago, although I've had physiotherapy, I sometimes get pain from that randomly come on, or come on when I'm doing something. I'm just going to warn people in the chat now, because I've had a couple of people messing about in the chat today. If you say anything really stupid, you're just getting an instant block, and I won't undo it later on, because, you know. I think it depends now, but again, it depends on if you're on about sizes of channels. You know, what kind of channel they are, because again, most people aren't going to have PewDiePie levels of subscribers, are they? So I wouldn't really count them. Cool, Mace. Enjoy your M40. Yeah, that's cool, Samuel. How are you going to make that? Are you doing it like with a 3D printer or what? I really don't know without seeing something like that what would break the seal, but I'd guess if you have too much weight in one area compared to the straps, then it could break the seal. And it depends on how you do the interface seal and everything else. MC1. MC1 is an alright mask. $20 for it is a bit steep. But yeah, MC1 is like a GP5 style mask, although it's got straps on it. But it's kind of just two eyepieces, an XL valve and metal, like, sort of voice diaphragm over it. Oh, that sounds cool, Sam. You'll definitely do videos on that, because that sounds really interesting. But yeah, that's a bit expensive, person. Unless it's something like Australian dollars, where it would be the equivalent then of £10, and that is a good price. But well, as I've said before, Wilderness, if it's cheap, it's not really going to be a collector's item. But look at my videos or whatever stuff in the background. I can't really recommend them easily to you, but check out, see what you want, and get one. I've got no interest in playing Minecraft. What's that, Mace? Oh, your M40 is that? Oh, that's cool. You've got the polarized lenses. Oh, that's very cool, because they're worth a lot, from what I understand, because they're quite rare. Yeah, very cool. Call of Pripyat's my favourite Stalker game, just because it's the one that works the most out the box. Or obviously, like Shadow of Chernobyl and Clear Sky are really buggy. Even when you've got all the patches installed, they're still really buggy. But Call of Pripyat, you know, if you bought that on Steam and it downloads all the patches, it just works, you know. I don't mean it just works in a Bethesda type way. I mean, it actually is just a good game all round. I think I've got a little cut on my head there, look. Yeah, I've got a little cut there, or a bite. Not sure I've got that, but that's irritating. Can't unsee that now on the webcam, now I've noticed it. Buy the stuff person then from industrial type suppliers, and you'd be surprised what you can find. Not necessarily military surplus stuff, but you know. But yeah, if you really want to get an MC1, it's not a bad mask, but I wouldn't use the filter that comes with it, because it's probably got a Polish MS4 filter with it, which safer than a GP5 filter, but I still wouldn't really want to breathe for it for very long. Yeah, that's a very good price for it, isn't it? $150, and you got all that with it. Well, I don't know what is the current price of a C3. When I got mine, they were between 20 and £30, and that was a good price for it. However, I've seen with them a lot now that they seem to be getting more expensive. So if you're paying a lot for it, I wouldn't bother. No, I don't play Battlefield 5. With demonetization, I think it depends really on what the content of the video is. I think if there's a bit of an agenda behind it, then it's bad. But if it's just demonetized because it's like political stuff or whatever, I couldn't care less. What's around $40 American or Canadian C3? That's not too bad, really. That's an opinion thing, Viking, but for me, the Scott GSR is very bad, but it's not the worst gas mask ever. Those ones up there, look. Well, there's two types they wore. There's the Y2Ks up there, where my finger's pointing. They're the ones they were wearing in that. But there's also, see on that chart behind me, the second one along, the PY60 or whatever it's called, with the two filters on each side. Some of the people on the roof are wearing that as well. Well, out of the modern Russian gas masks, I don't know, because I don't have any of them. Out the old Soviet mask, I like the Shums or SHMS the most. I actually don't know Gaming Legend, so you'd have to try it and find out. Yeah, I've had videos demonetized. The thing is, there's no rhyme or reason between it. Sometimes I can do videos, like several videos on a similar subject. Some get demonetized, others don't. And there's like no logic to it. But thankfully, they don't seem to have demonetized gas mask videos for absolutely ages, so I don't seem to have to really worry about that anymore. Right, ABEC P3, what that is, the ABEC bit should have a number rating on it as well, Alex, but A is organic vapor, B is inorganic vapor, E is acidic gases, and K is ammonia-based gases. So what you do is ABEC should, or like each of the individual letters should have a number rating. The higher the number is better, a bit like the P3. And P3 means that it's a particulate level 3 protection, which means it's the highest rated particle filter you can get. Sexy as gas mask. The one Hot Woman's wearing, Mike. But in terms of what masks I find visually most appealing, that's quite a good question. I don't actually know. You should try and repair it, Maxi, to be honest. No, butterfly knives are illegal in the UK, and I don't have one. Closest thing I have is one of those training butterfly knives where it just has a bit of metal in it, not like a blade, so you can practice doing like the spins and opening it. But otherwise, no, I do not have a butterfly knife because they're illegal here. Chinese TF1 masks, they're safe to use, and they won't give you lung cancer or whatever, and they look like GP5s. I can vaguely remember that, Mike, but yeah. I think I ID'd that for you, didn't I? And I can't remember what it was now. I don't know if it was like a 4A1 in yellow or something. Like it was a bong mask or whatever, but that's cool, John. That's too hot for YouTube, Beeben, so he can't answer you regarding that. You'd have to find a way of private messaging him, but you're not discussing that on my stream. These streams are mostly safe for work, minus a bit of swearing. No, I haven't been to America. Would love to go at some point. My favourite gas master chanker is the Avon CT12. And that's a question that gets asked several times on every stream. Even though I've got a video that says my favourite gas mask. Favourite World War II game? Ooh, that's more interesting. I say probably one of the World War II RTS games. I'm just trying to think now. Quite like Men at War. But that is World War One B, but not World War Two. Let me have a quick look. Actually, although it's not completely polished and everything, probably Iron Front 44, which is like an Arma 2 kind of total conversion, or a game that runs on Arma 2's engine, but is set in World War II. FM12 has a drinking tube, CT12 is lighter and doesn't have a drinking tube. Out of all the knives I commonly use, this one. Tangram Amarillo. Also, Mike, just because it might interest you, I did look up that thing about flip knives now being illegal in the UK, and I could not find any reference to it. At least not on the Gov UK thing, so as I said, I'm keeping mine. Fuck it. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of the laws we have, person, but I'm not going to break them. I mean, I don't have a C50, but I've talked a bit before about, like those being like external masks. But again, they're better because the filter's gone the outside, but the GSR is shit just because that has awful build quality. Ballistic knives are illegal in the UK, so I don't have one. But I assume by ballistic knife you mean the one where it shoots the knife when you press a button. No, I don't have one of those. How do they work anyway? Do they have like springs in them or like CO2 or what? Lots of things aren't illegal in the UK. A very basic Kevlar vest maxi would only be like £30-40, but again, it depends if you want something of added stab protection in it, or second hand or brand new. Sadly, not ones that are guaranteed to work, Mace. I mean, if you got, because it's a 6-point head harness, I imagine if you got any sort of rubber 6-point-ones, you might be able to rig it up to work. I've played both 2033 and yeah, Last Light's the one after that, isn't it? It's Exodus I've not played, but I've played both of those and like the Redux versions. But I'm not a massive fan of the Metro games. I don't think they're bad games, it's just they're not my kind of games. No, I don't have that mask, Crunchy Dog. Depends on the mask, and some you can, and some people could make you custom lenses for the mask. But with a lot of masks, you can't actually find spare parts and very easily. You almost have to buy a brand new mask. We don't do political questions on this stream, person. If you like old military knives, Viking, maybe get different kinds of bayonets and things like that. No, I've not played Metro Exodus. I won't play it while it's only on the bloody Epic Store or whatever it is. Yes, all right, just don't bring up politics just because it pisses people off in a lot of streams, you know what I mean? If we're having a good conversation, I hate it when somebody goes, I like this politician, I don't like that politician, because it just makes people argue with each other. Sometimes I do politics streams, rarely, where people get to talk about politics, but quite often they can be a bit annoying to do because you have to keep putting up with the same political questions over and over. All you'd need to do, Wilderness, to convert a gas mask into an airsoft mask is just get one that's strong enough, like that has polycarbonate lenses or whatever. But don't take old, like, retro gas masks airsofting because you'll break them. The filter's bigger, Alex. It can filter more gas and probably allow better airflow. That's all right, Mr. J. I do streams most days at the moment, but they're not always at the same time. disadvantage, Alex, to a box filter would be the weight, in the fact you can't really have a box filter on the mask itself. You have to have that on a hose. But yeah, box filters are very good if you've got like a satchel, because obviously it lets you have the weight of the filter in the satchel, and then you've got something that lasts like 3 or 4 times longer than a regular filter that sits on the side of a mask. There's audio. It's just a Chinese one, Ewan. I don't know if it's got a model name, but I bought it years ago. Get a 60 to 40mm converter for it, Viking. Clean it. Make sure it's airtight when you've got the filter on it and it's like on the face and everything. The American mask you won't find, because there's only like 3 in existence or something like that. 2 in private collections, 1 in a museum. So you won't get one, is the simple answer to that. Even people who have like thousands of dollars to spend on it won't be able to get one. Alright, I haven't done much. Proud gamer today. M40's alright. I prefer the S10, but you could do a lot worse than getting an M40, to be honest. The only issue of the M40 in terms of military mask is it's made from silicon, and silicon doesn't stand up to blister agents. My favourite helmet from the ones I've got is my Kevlar British Armed Police helmet, which I think is called the Commando, but it's basically just a US Pascut kind of copy. Not really, Ironton, because you generally, with masks like that, can't have the helmet strap done up, and you sort of have to just hope they fit together. There's lots of helmets that just don't fit with certain masks. Yeah, exactly. The only thing I could suggest then is maybe buying the biggest size, like SSH 68 helmet you can get, just so you've got a bit more spare room. But there's lots of helmets that just don't really fit with certain masks. Yeah, I've obviously played Stalker. Considering earlier on people were asking what my favourite Stalker game was, and I said Call of Pripyat. Just ask the question, Samuel. Don't say, can I ask a question? Just go ahead and ask it. Right, the brown stain on your PBF is probably just UV exposure, nothing interesting. Yeah, cool. Mace. Polish MP5s have a 6-point head harness. Although saying that, they're kind of designed to use that weird strap system, aren't they? So that probably wouldn't work. But all right, see you, Bradley. How long have I been on? 40 minutes. I'll be on another 20. If it's a really shiny lighter, it will show up scratches fairly easily. That's why I prefer the kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, but you know, where they don't have the such shiny, like with clippers and Zippos. I prefer the ones where they've got the kind of, not the shiny steel look or whatever, the kind of antique look. I don't know what you'd call it, but it depends how well you look after it, to be honest. You can always polish it. Knife for the 10 to 20 pound range. One of these Ganzo style knives. Not a legal carry knife unless you've got an excuse to have it on you. But don't know what the exact model number of this knife is, but it's a very good lock knife. Also lots of open hours in the 10 to 20 pound range. Yeah, exactly, Samuel. Matte sort of look, yeah, to the metal. Or brushed metal, yeah, they're the words I'm looking for. They're okay wilderness systems. They're not amazing. It's like a lot of Soviet stuff. It's serviceable, I guess is the word. Not crap, you know, not great, not terrible. There you go. That's a Soviet kid's mask. If you got all the masks out but your MSA masks and your Steve Gorman masks, what is it only out of those two? Because I don't have all that many MSA and Steve Gorman masks. If I had to pick any brand of mask, I'd pick my Avons, because as I said, people call me an Avon fanboy. I think I've got 2 Steve Gorman masks. Actually, I've got more than that, because I've got some of my World War II masks were made by Steve Gorman, even if they're not like Steve Gorman unique designs. MSA, I think my M40 is an MSA. Is my XM28 an MSA? MCU2P. If I wanted them for practicality reasons, MSA, just because I have some more modernish masks that are made by MSA. But out of like the look of them, Steve Gorman. All right then, MSA, just because they're more likely to work. Let me see what that one looks like. I can't get any results on Google. I've got that Polish one there, whatever that one's called, and I've got the Polish DP66M. So, is it either of those things? If not, I've got like the DKP50, whatever it's called, the dosimeter pen. But now he shouldn't have fallen off his skateboard then, should he? Viking. It's that one. They look cool, and for a stream thumbnail, a mask that looks cool is good. I just don't think cheek filters are a good design because the filters are on the inside of the mask. Not my head, no, Ethan. I've kicked my foot out in the night and like knocked the shelf where the EO14s are, but I've not or the one where the Mark IV is, the bottom of that. Well, you obviously didn't, Ernie, because I haven't been to Devon in years. Worst fitting mask I own, that's my Hungarian M76, whatever it's called. What sort of difficulties you're having setting it up? What do you mean, like getting it to fit you, or what? Right, see you leaving, Zeus. Even though I didn't see you make any previous comments whatsoever, but goodbye. Yeah, it is an MP4, Ernie. It's an MP4B. It's a drinking tube on the bottom. Right, I'm not going to do it because they're a pain in the ass to put back in, but see on the inside there, there's those buttons, like there. That's the pouch. You have to open the pouch up, stretch the mask, pull the filter in and out, and that's how they go in. They sit in pouches inside the cheeks. Why they didn't just have, like, a button-up bit, like, along there for the cheek filter pouches, I have no idea, because that would have been so much more practical, but they didn't. He made one comment then, but yeah, he wasn't very talkative, was he? The M40 easily, because the M40 is a modernish military mask. The GP5 is a cheap civil mask. No, I don't have a DP75 then, but that sounds really cool. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, they used to do the old-fashioned diving suits with, like, the diving kind of helmets and all the big, like the Big Daddy type ones from Bioshock. But sadly, Steve Gorman aren't around anymore. Shums easily, because as I said, you can aim scopes of it, you can't with a GP5. Don't ask questions about illegal stuff. I'll give you a timeout for that, not a block. But no, I wouldn't own anything illegal, would I? And it's not illegal to own gas masks in the UK, so I don't get what you're getting at. That's cool, person. I've tried that before, Justin. Most cheek filter masks don't really turn inside out well enough. You can put the strap in front of the mask, but that's about it. You can't get these masks to turn properly inside out. Like the Soviet PBF you can, but these won't do it because of how many bits they've got on. Zips can go wrong a lot more, so I'd say buttons, just like really good, like the popper kind of buttons. I know that, again, after loads and loads of uses, they can get slightly disfigured and not pop up, but if you had a load going around the outside, the airtight bit could literally be the bit very close to the mask, because with lots of cheek filter masks, obviously, that pouch isn't completely airtight. The airtight bit is where the inhalation hole or the Tissot tube bit is from the cheek filter. Because the idea is that the entire cheek filter is a surface air can pass through, really. It's not like a regular filter where there's one little hole in the bottom. The American Mickey Mouse mask, heavy weapons guy, because it certainly doesn't look like a mask children would want to wear. No, they're curved lenses. I mean, I've got the outserts on this one as well, but they're slightly curved and triangular. What's Justin on about then? Did I miss a comment? Yeah, did I miss a comment there? Because I see people saying it puts a negative view on us collectors, but I don't see the previous comment. Oh, are you on about heavy weapons guy? No, I'm really confused now. All right, see your wilderness system. Not that heavy, Ewan. Obviously, they're heavier than regular filters, but probably like 3 times the weight of a normal filter. Because if you think a coffee can filter is like the size normally of like 2 or 3 regular filters, if you stack them end on end, minus obviously like the screw-in bit, then the filter's mostly filled with charcoal and like the system. If it's a deactivated grenade launcher, it's legal. If it's live, obviously it's not, because it'd be under like certain firearms or explosives laws. The bong masks aren't actual gas masks. They're Israeli 4A1s where somebody's taken a mold of it and done a cheap sort of like copy of the mold kind of thing. No, because I've very rarely seen them crunchy dog and they take up a lot of space. Not necessarily dog masks, but horse masks are gigantic. Yeah, flat panoramic lens sounds good. I mean, you could, with a panoramic lens, you could potentially have the front of the panoramic lens be totally flat. Then you could kind of do a curved bit around, the rest of it like that. That way, scopes would work fine with it, and you still get a very good field of view. Which one? The Mark IV in the very far corner over there? I can read it out to you, Ewan. Hang on. I always forget the name of it, but I know the actual thing is PH, isn't it? The short bit. Phenate hexamine. There you go. Where's the bit where it says it? There you go, look. Phenate hexamine, or whatever it. Hexamine. Phenate hexamine. Yeah, $40 for a horse mask is a very good price. What, the grey mask? That's a GP5. It's not the left corner, is it? Well, it's not in a corner anyway. You can legally own tanks in the UK. They just have to have rubber tracks on them if you drive them on the road, so they don't damage the road surface. That's interesting, Justin. I've never heard of that. Let me Google it. If YouTube lets me highlight your text, I can Google it. That's a cool looking thing, isn't it? Have you got an air tank to use with it? I've done videos recommending different NBC suits, so watch one of those because I don't really have time now with only 10 minutes left in the stream to go on a long-winded answer about NBC suits. Yeah, at £11 for those night vision goggles would be cool, even though they're like my infrared thing, aren't they? They require you to have an infrared light source for them to actually work because they're not like they're passive night vision, whatever they call it, or active night vision. I can't remember which way round it is. But it's the one where it requires a second like night vision light to actually work. I'm hopefully going to visit America in a couple of years' time, but gun-friendly states, basically. Yeah, $10 for an S10 is a very good price. Okay, so it's just an NBC suit, is it then, Justin, not an actual hazmat suit? Because actual hazmat suits use an air tank in them to pressurize. Yeah, definitely get it then, Miracle Machine. A Mark V gaming legend, but obviously would want it with a modern filter on, not an old asbestos filter. So if the filter on something like a Mark IV, actually I have a Mark IV, so British Mark IV respirator, that one over there, and then the filter on it swap with the Polish FP203 red filter, then I'd happily wear that. It's not got an oral nasal cup in it, so it'll fog up, but otherwise it's quite cool. What's wrong with Florida? I mean, other than the fact it gets really hot. Are you on about rebreathers? I'm not sure what you're on about, mate. But rebreathers are the ones where you can use them in no air scenarios because they recycle your breath. I've already been to Poland. I went to Warsaw, Gdansk, Krakow, and I went to Auschwitz on one of the days I was there. No, that's all right, Justin. It won't let you link it because, as I said before, YouTube doesn't let you post links. Yeah, $15. I'd still go for it. I wouldn't go like, no, $15 is excessive for an S10. Don't pay it. Yeah, $15 is a great price. Florida man. Like from the news article, Florida man does X, Florida man does Y. Yeah, YouTube. On regular videos, you can sometimes post links, but sometimes YouTube just deletes the link in your comment. On live streams, it won't let you post links at all. All right, see you, Maxi. Yeah, there's 5 minutes left. Gas mask hoses aren't expensive. You can get Chinese hoses brand new for a couple of pounds on eBay, and they're better than the old Russian hoses. I went to the outside of the museum that was in Warsaw, where they had like loads of tanks and aeroplanes in the outside bit, like the ZSU-57-2s and all those. No, on streams it just completely deletes a link. Only moderators can post links. Certain comments do get how to mod approval, but if you post a link, it just deletes the comment outright. Like, shadow bans it, basically. Because I've had people trying to get post links before and I can't approve them and mods can't approve them. YouTube just keeps deleting your comments. That's cool, person. I mean, Moras aren't that expensive, are they, anyway? But I suppose $8 still isn't a bad price for one. I went to the Portrait Gallery in Poland, in Warsaw, and that was very good. Also went into the, the big commie, what was it? Palace of Culture and Science, or whatever. That used to be the tallest building in Poland, but I think now there's a couple of skyscrapers a bit bigger than it, aren't there? All right, cheers, Luli, if I'm pronouncing that right. Well, I sadly didn't see any surplus stores when I was in Poland. Most of the time I've been on holiday to other countries, I've not noticed surplus stores, obviously. I think I saw one when I was in Romania, where they had some beat-up M70... Not Romania, sorry, Hungary. Where they had some beat-up Hungarian M76 on the outside. War jackets. I've got lots of camo jackets, if you mean things like that, and body armors. Yeah, for the most part, when I was on holiday, I spent a lot of my money on beer, to be honest. As I already said, when I went to Poland, that was in 2015. I went to Warsaw, Gdansk, a couple of other smaller cities, Krakow, and then back to Warsaw. And then obviously the flight in and out was from Warsaw, the Chopin Airport, whatever it was. I'll visit Romania at some point. Self-defense weapon I can't answer because I'm in the UK and it could put me in legal trouble if I recommend something for self-defense. Not sure what I've overpaid for on gas masks. I generally do a lot of research, and because I buy through eBay, you get buyer protection. So I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but that generally doesn't happen. Well, a super chat is where you can pay to do a comment that just highlights itself and sticks around for longer. I get a bit of money from it, so that's the nice thing. So super chats do support me. Next year, hopefully, Ewan. So I assume about June, July time next year. I went to Poznan for a day, but it was only between places on the trip. Well, I can't actually remember too much about Poznan. Is that the place that has quite a nice cathedral? Or am I thinking of somewhere else? Do you know the name of it, Crunchy Dog? Are you sure it's just not a GP5 that's been damaged by UV to go brown? Anyway, I'll be finishing the stream now because I've gone on for about an hour. So I'll just wrap it up. Yeah, GP5 filters contain asbestos in the particulate layer, so don't wear it because obviously the more you breathe through a GP5 filter, the more you risk the chances of inhaling asbestos. It says 59 minutes and 56 seconds at the moment, so that's not a total minute. You can rewatch it in a minute then, Daniel, when I'm off. You can wear GP5s without the green filters. You can fit other filters on the GP5. Right, anyway, I'll be finishing the stream. So thanks for all the people that were making the sensible comments on the stream, because unfortunately, as I said, I did have to block some people earlier who were just making really stupid comments or making the same points over and over and over again when I asked them if they wanted to talk about other things. But yeah, for all the people that have been chatting about sensible things, thank you. and I'll be streaming tomorrow, but I'm not sure the time yet. I don't know if I'll do an earlier one or a later one tomorrow. But yeah, see you everybody. Goodbye, or good night, or whatever. Yeah, see ya.